Hi, I'm Rick Kessler.
And I'm Hank Minkowitz, sports editor at the News Herald newspaper.
Well, Hank, this week in the sports world, Saturday night, we have the start of the NHL season.
The NHL is back. It's been a long time, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there happy to get hockey back going.
What's your take on this abbreviated season? Sprint to the finish?
Well, I think that that basketball proved last year that maybe our winter seasons are a little too long. This is a little bit of a compacted season. You worry about injuries, you worry about other things, but every game means something. It is sort of a sprint to the finish, but they're going to figure out in 40 or so games who's who. And in the NHL, the playoffs is really kind of what it's about. So I don't think that's too bad a thing. I think the greater issue here is what kind of damage hockey has done to its fan base. I mean, there's a lot of people, and frankly, I include myself. I'm not that excited.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned to live without hockey, and I'm sure it'll get back, but it takes a while. Again, it's the same thing we had in basketball, same thing we had in baseball. You've got millionaires fighting billionaires, and for the rest of us, it's like, all right, get on with it already. So I'm curious to see what kind of damage they did to their reputation.
What would you like to see from the NHL, or even more specifically Gary Bettman, the commissioner? What would you like to see from them to try to win the fan base back?
Well,
or can they?
Well, I don't know that there's specific things that they can do. Have a good season, have an exciting season, have close races, those type of things. Frankly, I feel like the NHL has fallen down in that regard across the board. They've clearly overexpanded. Okay, there are too many teams and too many markets where people don't care about it, and they've not gotten a national broadcasting contract that helps them get their message out there, get their game out there, and develop the fan base. I can't believe ESPN and places like that would show mindless things all day long. Can't find room to put some hockey on there. And if they could get together, hockey seems to me it has the potential for growth that just never happened under Bettman.
To me, one of the nicest things when ESPN had the contract back when was when they would market the players with those really nice commercials. Some were pretty funny. Most of them were just really well done. And then all of a sudden, maybe it's wrong to put all of this on Bettman, but he tries to take it to markets that have no business of having a hockey franchise. Right. Phoenix, of course, is the number one example. Sure.
Well, you're trying to force hockey into Phoenix, Southern California, South Florida. These places, there may be a few transplanted hockey fans there, but it's not where you want to take this game. And those are the two great failings. Expanding into those areas and not capitalizing on the value of television. You talk about the ESPN hockey commercials. ESPN commercials in general are funny and well thought up. Those ones they do for SportsCenter when they bring people in, they're fantastic. It's a fantastic vehicle. And the fact that ESPN and the NHL can't get together and have some kind of marriage, they seem perfect for each other. So,
except for the occasional Sunday NHL broadcast on NBC, which is usually going to be New York versus whoever, because that's their market, New York. You're going to see hockey on a national network on Versus,
right? Or
NBC Sports, whatever their channel's called now.
Right. Well, and here's the thing: my cable network doesn't get NBC Sports. Versus has changed names. I'm not even sure it's Versus anymore. But it didn't get it at first. I mean, I missed playoff games that were on Versus when it first started. So to even call those things a national contract is stretching the truth, I think. And those Sunday afternoon games, they're okay, but they're sort of like, it almost feels like the old wide world of sports.
Yeah.
You put ice motorcycle racing in or something like that.
Right.
It's inconsequential.
And the problem with that, of course, is without that national contract, television contract, you don't have the national television contract revenue to go with it.
Right.
Which brings us back to this lockout, the third one under Bettman's watch. One was to cancel the season entirely. You don't have the money to prop up those Phoenix Coyotes of the world.
Right.
The owners who are profitable aren't willing to share that wealth with those other franchises. So where does that leave Bettman? The players. He's got to take it from them.
Right. Well, of course. Although, let's be honest. Let's not lay this only on hockey. I mean, David Stern did the exact same thing in basketball. Let's be honest. We're not living in the golden age of commissionerships right now. Okay, Bowie Kuhn and Bart Giamatti were great baseball commissioners, and Pete Rozelle was a great a great football commissioner. But now you've got Goodell in the NFL, who's got replacement referees and Bounty Gate, and you got Stern, who just had a lockout, and then you got Bud Selig, who's been the biggest buffoon of them all and the most laughed at commissioner of all time. But actually, his latest thing was the baseball playoff thing that he got right. So with him getting something right and all these other commissioners falling down, he almost looks like a paragon right now. So,
which 10 years ago, you could not have gotten away with saying that.
No, right, exactly. I think part of the issue for commissioners is that they're clearly, I want to say, puppets of the owners.
Of course they are.
These days. And you didn't see that in the old days. When Bowie Kuhn was the baseball commissioner, he had the best interest of baseball at heart.
Integrity of the game was paramount.
Right, and I don't think that's the case for any of the commissioners anymore.
Now it's balance sheet of the owners.
Exactly right.
All right. So, one last question for you. This is going to be a shocker. I don't know if you're ready for this, but
all right.
The Detroit Lions have a new special teams coach next year.
Well, after watching all those returns against them, I hope not to see that anymore. So,
did you get your Super Bowl tickets then?
I'm going to hold off a while.
Okay.